let's talk about Gravity Falls. Gravity Falls is so well liked that I probably don't need to tell you how good it is. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Gorgeous animation, quirky and enchanting setting, lovable characters, hilarious comedy, and fascinating mysteries. Oh my! It's one of the only shows I watched every episode of as it came out, and it is every bit as good now as it was back then. It just might be the best animated series ever created. People always give that title to Avatar: The Last Airbender, but I think Gravity Falls sits right next to it. And besides, what villain am I going to talk about from Avatar? Azula? I could have talked about Azula, that would have been really good. But no, I want to tell you about a three-sided little prankster named Bill.
Gravity Falls, it is good to be back!
Bill Cipher is the primary antagonist of Gravity Falls, and is basically as close to a perfect character as you can get in my opinion. He's just everything I could ever want from a villain. Cunning, creepy, bombastic, shaped like a Dorito. He's really got the full package.
Yes, the brain and the body. That's right.
Just like the rest of the show, he strikes a flawless balance between being quirky and deeply disturbing. And the scene that shows this off perfectly comes from what is, as far as I can see, the best Bill Cipher episode in the whole series. Sock Opera. And don't get me wrong, Bill was definitely a fun threat in his first appearance, but in my opinion, it wasn't until this episode that he truly took over the show. A little bit of context for what's going on. In a previous episode, Dipper found this mysterious laptop that he believes holds some valuable information, but he can't get into it because of today's sponsor, NordVPN. I can't do that. Meanwhile, Mabel has fallen in love with an artsy-fartsy guy who wears a black turtleneck unironically, so you know he's dangerous, and has dedicated all her time to making sock puppets for him, thus abandoning Dipper. So we come in on Dipper trying passwords, getting increasingly frustrated, and gosh dang it, this show looks pretty! With the red lighting and the backgrounds that look like they're lifted right out of a storybook. It's so good! Huge props to the series art director Ian Worrell and the entire animation team because the visuals are consistently gorgeous. Anyway, suddenly a timer starts counting down. He's made too many attempts. The laptop's gonna wipe itself in 5 minutes. He's desperate, he doesn't know what to do, and then all the color disappears from the room around him. Thunder claps, and with a ripple of the screen, Bill appears, perfectly aligned with the triangle design in the window behind him. Here's the first thing you need to know about Cipher. Dude knows how to make an entrance. Every time he shows up, he arrives with a striking visual that just sears itself into your brain. It's part of what makes him so memorable. Bill is pretty hard to ignore whenever he's on screen. He takes full advantage of the animated medium to twist both himself and the world around him in endlessly creative ways. It's a ton of fun to watch. Back to the scene. He appears in this meditative pose, and I like the implication that he's just been sitting there, waiting patiently for this exact moment. Later on, he has a line where he mentions that Dipper's been getting
Way too close to figuring out some major answers.
And I love all the tiny details that the series throws in to show you. Bill is always watching. The window, the secret codes that show up in transitions. Even in the first episode, you've been watching for all of a minute. You don't even know what this series is really about. But right at the end of the opening, for just a frame, he's there. You can't get away from him. Bill wants to make a deal with Dipper, but he isn't really interested.
What crazy thing do you want anyway? To eat my soul? To rip out my teeth? Are you gonna replace my eyes with baby heads or something?
Those are all very realistic fears when Bill is around. But Mr. Cipher doesn't want anything so drastic. All he wants is a puppet. Dipper is intrigued, but when he raises some concerns about how it would hurt Mabel, Bill says this.
Besides, what's your sister done for you lately? How many times have you sacrificed for her, huh? And when has she ever returned the favor?
This is interesting, because
He's out of line, but he's right.
this is a genuine, common criticism I've heard leveled at the show. Maybe even the most common criticism I hear people say about it.
Then watches Marbles makes Dipstick give up everything so she can have summer free time and boys over and over again. And she's just totally selfish all the time.
When Mabel does something that harms Dipper, it's presented as a joke. But when Dipper does the same thing back, it's presented as a conflict. Some people have gone as far as to call this a deal breaker for the show. And while I do believe it's one of the series' greatest flaws, I don't think it actually matters at all.
You know, because I am the creator of the show and like I am thinking, I'm always a bit more in Dipper's heart than I am in Mabel's. Dipper's the character who tends to learn the lesson, you know, because he tends to be the character who's got some wrong idea about life or about the world that needs to be straightened out for him.
But let me tell you, this was the biggest complaint I saw people bring up all throughout Season 1. But Sock Opera came out in the beginning of Season 2. Bill is leveraging real audience complaints, actual grievances that people had with this character to get not only Dipper on his side, but you as well. This is genius. It means that Dipper doesn't feel like a sucker for falling for it, because there's a good chance we understand exactly how he's feeling. It's an absolutely devious move on the part of the writers, because as soon as he shakes Bill's hand, we learn just how bad an idea that was.
So what puppet are you gonna pick anyway?
Let's see. Eeny, meeny, miny.
What?
Bill possesses Dipper's body with an effect on the eyes that's creepy in how simple it is, and smashes the laptop. And you gotta understand, watching this as it aired, this moment made Bill feel so dangerous. It's hard now to appreciate how big a deal the mystery of Gravity Falls was, because we have all the answers. But it was a major part of watching the show. We were right there with Dipper, poring over cipher codes, analyzing screenshots, begging for any scrap of information we could find, and that laptop was the biggest clue they had revealed in ages. And William freaking Cipher crushed it under his heel. He knew what we wanted, he used it, and he ripped it away from us. Now at this point, the scene has a bit of a tonal shift, and I am 100% down for it. Bill Cipher is not just an eldritch nightmare. He's also one of the funniest characters in the show.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy!
Comedy and horror are two sides of the same coin, and when Bill flipped it, it landed on its side, so you wind up with things like this.
Here, have a head that's always screaming.
Weird, unsettling, hysterical? Yes, all of those things. So the scene is pretty much cut in half, the tense manipulation side and the wacky Bill and Dipper's body side. That sorta makes this moment-to-moment analysis difficult, because I can't just point to every joke and say, hey, that's funny! But guys, every joke is funny.
Race you to the bottom of the stairs.
Just the idea that he's fascinated by pain because he hasn't inhabited a human in forever is so on brand for Bill Cipher. It's all boosted by Alex Hirsch's excellent vocal performance, and little details like the forks in the arms add so much. I can't go into much detail without this getting really long-winded, a risk I'm already taking with this video, but trust me when I say this whole back half is delightful. And then, of course, top it all off with a devilish closing line.
But how can you stop me if you don't exist?
Bill Cipher is not a deep villain. He isn't empathetic, he doesn't challenge the heroes ideologically. But as Michael Caine says in The Dark Knight, some men aren't looking for anything logical. Some men just want to watch the world do whatever the heck is going on here. What the crap?
Anybody want to get in my mouth? I'm a big hungry monster. I'm a big hungry monster here.
And that's all Bill needs to be. He kind of represents the worst side of everything the series stands for. Curiosity. Seeking out the weird things in your life. He may not be the most compelling, but he is everything this show needs in an antagonist, and he's a joy to watch from start to finish. And if that doesn't make him one of the best all-time villains, what does? Oh yeah, the fact that he says this.
I've got some children I need to make into corpses!
Yep, that'll put you on the Pantheon. Jeez, dude. Hey, you made it to the end. I kind of honestly wasn't expecting anyone to, so thank you for that. In case it wasn't obvious, this video was actually supposed to be a part of the One Villainous Scene playlist put together by Nando V Movies, where a bunch of different YouTubers and video essayists all came together to make videos about villainous scenes that they really loved, in celebration of James Gunn's The Suicide Squad releasing. Kinda missed the boat on that one, but you know, I just absolutely love this show and this character and this scene specifically, so like obviously I was going to make a video on this, and it was a great opportunity to get my channel started. Thank you, Nando, for giving me that kick in the butt. If you're interested in more villainous content that's way past the trend, then my buddy J Motions also made a One Villainous Scene video. His was on Ridley from the Metroid franchise, and an excellent pivotal scene that he has in the manga. Great video, I even make a cameo in that, so thanks, Jay. But yeah, other than that, you know, like, subscribe, bell, I guess, do all the things that you're supposed to do. There will be other videos here eventually. They're coming, I promise. But for now, thanks for watching this. It means a lot to me. You have a great day, friends. I'll see you later.